Hi and welcome to Trillo Talks. This program is designed to bring to the forefront discussion of current events that are mainly political, some well publicized and some not. Today sitting at our table we have the Director of the Department of Human Services, Gary Alexander. Sitting next to him is the Director of the Department of Elderly Affairs, Corinne Russo. And sitting next to her is the Acting Director of Mental Health Retardation in Hospitals, Craig Stenny. Welcome one and all. It's a pleasure to have the three of you on the program today.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, we're here today to try to clarify the changes that are going to come to the Medicaid program. A little bit of background for the people that are watching the program, and that is that the governor made a request from the federal government that Rhode Island be allowed to change the way the Medicaid program had normally been administered under the rules and regulations of the federal government so that we could achieve a variety of different goals. The biggest one is to benefit elderly that maybe want to stay in their homes longer, but there are a whole other set of benefits that come to disabled people. I'm going to start with you, Gary. Can you give us a capsulized version of what we're hoping to achieve?
Right now, the Medicaid program consists of a number of disparate and separate and siloed programs all under one umbrella. We serve children, families, we serve the elderly, we serve mentally challenged and disabled individuals from cradle to death. We serve approximately 200,000 people, which is almost a quarter of the population or a little more.
And how much money do you spend in that service?
Currently approximately $1.7 billion.
And $1.7 billion out of a $7 billion budget is roughly about, is it a third?
It's about 25%. 26%.
Of the entire budget
Yes.
of the state.
And that's been growing. About 7 or 8 years ago, it was only about 22%. We project that at current growth rate, it would be, by the year 2020, close to 40 to 45% of the state's budget, which would mean less money for roads, bridges, for schools, safety, education.
Mm-hmm.
So we really needed to get a handle on the growth of the program. The way we designed this global waiver was basically to break down the silos amongst the populations and create one streamlined health plan across all populations from birth to death.
Mm-hmm.
So the global waiver essentially now looks at a person holistically, whereas before it was siloed into very separate programs and separate agencies.
Mm-hmm.
The agencies will still exist, but the program silos will now be broken down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Corinne, being the Director of Elderly Affairs, I'm sure that there are a lot of elderly people that are really concerned about some of these changes that are going to happen. And I think one of the biggest concerns is anybody that's in a nursing home. Mm-hmm. The question is, will they have to leave the nursing home or will they be able to continue to be there?
That's a very good question, Representative Trillo, and a concern of many of our elders and their caregivers. And at the present time, there will be no changes. People will not be forced to leave the nursing home. The governor has committed to that. Gary has committed to that in his preparation to CMS. And the reason is that those people who are in nursing homes meet that level of need. They meet the level of care that they would be assessed at. Now, and that's because we have never had, prior to this, options in the community for wraparound services.
You had to basically do what the federal government mandated.
We had to do what was the allowable within the funding cycle.